The DraftPhysics.com $3,000 brain dead pool contest has finally arrived. That's right. In a kind of incomplete start, actually, because I haven't written up a bunch of rules and all that stuff. But anyway, so I'm just going to explain them in this video as they are currently. And it's completely subject to change. I reserve the right to end the contest without, any more than just a reasonable explanation. In case the stock market crashes, the world comes to an end, everything's on fire, whatever. I have my own reasons. But I have a full intent to do nothing dishonorable or to have no legitimate claims of shenanigans against me. Contest is done with in all sincerity. So anyway, so there'll be a $3,000 prize for whoever scores the most points in listing the 11 people off the list below who will show some intellectual integrity and concede. The simple statement that I've written basically is that they would describe my theory as it is a physical unifying model that more simply, consistently, and completely answers the fundamental questions in physics. Fundamental like gravity, magnetism, electro phenomenon, and such. Yeah, so once they concede that, yeah, it's a damn good model, that kind of thing, we'll say, I'll decide when they've conceded, said enough, acknowledged, and when 11 people from the list make that concession, the contest ends, and the winner will be awarded the prize if they're not, haven't been deceptive or criminal in any way in what they've done, haven't been fraudulent. So it's pretty simple. The basic rule is you'll score 10 points for getting one of the names of the 11 that's on, for every name on your list that's among the 11, first 11, you'll get 10 points, and you lose a point for how many they're off in terms of rank. So if you pick a name 6th and they were 2nd, you would lose 4 points from the 10 and only get 6 points. But you can lose no more than 5 points, so any name that's on the list is guaranteed to be worth at least 5 points. And if you get them in the right order, you get a lot more points. And so that'll be basically how the system will work. There'll be a multiplier by your rank in terms of when you entered. So first person in will have an advantage in a tiebreaker. And I think that's it for the mechanics of how I'll decide who won. And so you send your entries. It's kind of simple. Pick the 11 names, and then you send an email to contest@draftphysics.com with the 11 names. And frankly, I just prefer that you provide your name and address, and not to be a pussy about it. But if you must remain anonymous, if the scary internet scares you, then you need to provide the last 3 digits of your first name and the last 3 digits of your last name, the name that will be on the check. So it has to match the name you're giving me for the check. That won't be a double endorsement check or any of that crap. It has to be cashed by the person whose name's on it. And the first 3 numbers or letters of your street address. So you can just include that if you want to remain obscure for whatever reason. I hate even making concessions to this kind of garbage, but whatever. This is what you got to do. So in entries, you can't entries from really bad email addresses, the obvious spam companies and stuff. I'll send you a notice that it's not acceptable. So you have to send from some sort of legitimate email address. And I'll send a notice, a response email, confirming that I received your entry. And if there's any problems with it, What is wit doing in there? Wit. Wit isn't. It's not right. Yeah. Somebody has a little bit of dyslexia. I don't know who it is. Yeah, it's got a lot of dyslexia. How do you spell that after all? With the W-I-T-H. I think that's right. I wouldn't know today. Today is not a good day for me, for whatever reason. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah, so pretty simple. All right. So, and then, you know, you can always alter your entry if you wish. You have to send a copy from the same email address of your original email, your entry, and then how you'd like to modify the entry. Obviously, if somebody, I mean, you can enter after people have already conceded, but clearly then there's only going to be, you know, 10 people or 9 people or 8 people on the list, so you're going to have fewer opportunities to win points, but clearly you could still, you got a chance. Yeah, so I'll leave the entry thing open anytime. I mean, obviously if there's only one name, if we have 10 names already out and there's only one name left, you're not going to be able to probably win enough points to win. So it might not be worth your trouble. I'd probably prefer to do like a $30, $100 prizes, but that probably wouldn't generate as much interest. And you know, a big part of this is to generate interest in the channel, to attempt to have more constructive debate. I mean, you know, debate has to have a little bit of, I mean, debate is always kind of unpleasant. Arguing is not fun, necessarily. But it should be reasonably, should have some elements of civility, some minimum standards of civility. And yes, I would like to have my theory tested rigorously, and and I'd like the opportunity to test those people who are devoted to conventional physics, just because it is, you know, when analyzed, it's not even very deeply analyzed. It's just so silly on its face in terms of just not being a theory at all. I mean, the relativity theories are just bent space. What do you mean? What is doing this? What's the mechanism? How is space being vacuumed, and how is matter paying any attention? There's no physical mechanism. And then their answers for magnetism are just empty. They have no clue. They just say virtual photon like that means something. Like it shouldn't be. Like that isn't funny enough, saying virtual photon as an answer. You know, invisible photon, fake photon, non-real photon. But they don't even say anything else, so it's not like, you know, it doesn't even explain. It's like a legless bear. I mean, you know, what does it do? It just, what? It just sits there? The virtual photon makes magnets attract by just sitting there with no arms and legs and just doing nothing? I mean, there's no explanation for how this virtual photon causes anything. You know, and quantum mechanics is almost laughable with its dualities and its breaking of every kind of rational word in the vocabulary. Waves aren't really waves. Annihilation isn't really annihilation. It's just all, you know, it's just word garbage. So in a sense, almost anybody should be able to concede my theory is better than the conventional theory, because the conventional theory is just so frickin' silly. But anyway, that's commentary we don't need in this video. Let's stick to the facts. Okay, so I think I've hit anything that's really important. So like I say, all the updates will be on, I'll post in the description of this video. If I do any other videos on the subject of this contest, there'll be a link in the description. If I change any rules, there'll be a link, there'll be the description of those changes. I'll make every effort to answer any questions about the contest that are posted on this video. Any concerns, whatever. So I'm just verifying that there's no intent on my part to do anything dishonest or sneaky or whatever, and I intend that the person who does the best job at picking wins. And that's my intention. And that's it. So, contest begins now, pretty much. And, as stated, first in will have a slight advantage. But, I don't know if it's enough of an advantage to panic over, but, it's an advantage. Let's see. Yeah, if the anonymous types, if another person ends up with the same the same last 3 letters of their names and the same address, just coincidentally, then the second person who has the duplicate is going to have to provide more information. So they'll be notified that somebody already has their name. They've used it up, so they're going to have to provide more letters. Anyway, so I think that's enough. Don't drag it out. So I'm hoping that this won't take too long, a number of months. I'm hoping it's not dozens of months. So the contest won't be over in a week. It's going to take a little time. But it should be interesting. And it's sort of an interesting thought experiment. Just interesting in terms of analyzing psychology and motivations of people, just to see who has this this intellectual integrity thing and who doesn't. Yes. And such. So till the next time and such, announcement video, tweet.